There we are. Okay.
Thank you, Ruth.
It's a little bright here, but
Yeah. Okay. All right, so then we're good to go?
Yep.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. My name is Virginia Harger. I'm the chairperson of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission. Today is Tuesday, June 14th, 2022, and the regular meeting of the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission being conducted in the Shelton City Hall Auditorium via Zoom and through a phone link is hereby called to order. The meeting is also being carried live on YouTube. On this day in 1777, a little history lesson, the Second Continental Congress passed a resolution creating the first official flag of the United States. And 139 years later, in 1916, President Woodrow Wilson officially established June 14th as Flag Day. So I would ask everyone, please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I invite those participating remotely to do the same. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of
United States of
America
America,
and to the
Republic
republic
which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with
with
liberty and
justice for all.
for all.
Please verbally indicate you're present when your name is called. Commissioner Kelly,
Present.
Commissioner Parkins,
Present,
Vasquez,
Present.
Vicky,
Present.
Amato,
here.
and Commissioner Usel,
Present.
myself, Commissioner Harger, Mr. Rossetti, our administrator, Mr. Panico, our consultant,
Here,
Assos, our recording secretary.
Present.
You, and for the record, alternate Commissioner Nafrio indicated he would not be available for this evening's meeting, and Mr. Nappy, our downtown development coordinator, is excused. Couple of points before continuing with today's agenda. Mr. Rossetti will act as the Zoom meeting host. While commissioners will be able to make comments throughout the meeting, Chair asks that you please identify yourself and wait to be recognized before speaking to make sure we are not speaking over each other, and to make sure our recording secretary is clear as to who is speaking. Our first agenda item is old business, and the first agenda item is application 20-22, Riverview Park Royal, Dominic Thomas for Canal Properties LLC at 113 to 123 Canal Street, Assessors Map 130, lots 4, 5, 6, and 7. Petitioning for a special exception on a 2.57 acre property in the Riverfront District, RFD zone. This proposal is for a 5-story mixed-use building with 11,000 square feet of retail commercial space on the first floor, 92 studio, 1, 2, and 3-bedroom apartments with on-site parking. And just to go over the timeline on this, the application was accepted for review on June 8th, 2021. A public hearing opened on July 21st, 2021, and continuations were at our August 17th, September 27th, October 27th, November 17th, and January 19th meetings. At our January 19th, 2022 meeting, the public hearing closed. February 8th, the commission discussed the application. And the applicant's project did receive inland wetlands approval at its October 27th, 2021 meeting. Tonight, we have a resolution prepared by staff to review, discuss, and take possible action. Does everyone have a copy of that was emailed to you? And Mr. Rossetti, you can put that up on the screen. Thank you. So, Mr. Panico,
yes,
you read the resolution, and then commissioners can ask questions or the very end.
okay, you want to hold the questions rather than jump in?
I think it depends on what the question is sometimes.
Okay. All right, well, this is in regard to application 2022. Attorney Dominic Thomas on behalf of Canal Properties LLC for approval of a special exception in site plan approval for development of a mixed-use building consisting of 92 apartments above 11,000 square feet of retail commercial space located at 113 to 123 Canal Street, and it's in a riverfront district, so-called RFD district. The applicant proposes to construct a 5-story mixed-use development consisting of 4 floors of apartments above 11,000 square feet of retail commercial space and parking in a riverfront district. The structured parking will be provided on a deck that's at street level at the rear of the retail commercial space, and it flows under the apartments as well as a lower level of parking at the basement level. Based on latest revised plans dated 10/1/21, the proposed 92 residential apartments consist of 28 studios, 16 one-bedroom, 44 two-bedroom, and 4 three-bedroom units, with a total of some 205 on-site parking spaces now proposed. And I say now because those numbers are different from what they were when the application was submitted. In the course of modifying and revising, these are the final numbers. The site consists of 2.574 acres and was originally part of the former industrial development along Canal Street, but is now owned by the city of Shelton. It is a former brownfields parcel, essentially remediated, save for some additional excavation and removal necessary to accommodate the development proposal. The property fronts on Canal Street. It abuts the adjacent city-owned Veterans Memorial Park, the Housatonic River, and the Housatonic Railroad Company right-of-way. The proposed mixed commercial residential use is permitted in the Riverfront District, subject to the approval of a special exception under the provisions of Section 33 of the Shelton zoning regulations and compliance with the standards and specific provisions of paragraph 33.19. The subject application is accompanied by plans entitled Riverview Park Royal, 113-123 Canal Street, Shelton, Connecticut, unquote, prepared for Primrose Development, LLC, and dated July 7, 2021, revised 5/17/21, prepared by Geddes Associates, Inc., designers, architects, and project managers, and includes engineering plans prepared by J. Edwards and Associates, LLC, engineering, surveying, and site planning, dated 5/1/2020. Also provided was a statement of uses for the special exception application. The application was accepted for review by the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission on June 8th, 2021, and a duly noticed public hearing on the proposal was commenced on July 21st, 2021, which hearing was continued to August 17th, 2021, to September 22nd, 2021, to October 7th, 2021, and November 17th, 2021, to allow the submission of additional engineering information and other referral reports, as well as plan revisions in response to initial commission's concerns. After receipt of Inland Wetland Commission approval and further engineering input, the public hearing was then continued to and closed on January 19th of 2022. At said hearing, there was considerable discussion with the commission members regarding building height, the 100-year flood level, its impact on lower level parking, the overall density, the adequacy of parking, etc. There were no adverse public comments expressed. During the continuation of the public hearing process, in an attempt to address concerns previously raised, the applicant introduced modified plans dated revised 10/1/21, adjusting the unit mix, expanding parking, and addressing the commission's request to provide approximately 10% affordable housing units. There were no further modifications to the exterior architectural design, elevations, and renderings. Regarding the FEMA 100-year flood level impacts, the applicant confirmed their ability to park below the flood level, provided elevators and other mechanical services are properly protected. The applicant represented that the parking usage was consistent with other approvals by the DEP and FEMA for other proposals on Canal Street. The applicant also confirmed that extension of the culvert for the burying ground brook through the site will be encased and no diversion permit from DEP is needed. Final engineering design and details will be submitted for review by the city engineer, as well as peer review by an independent engineering firm prior to city engineer approval and sign off of final commission. Prior to city engineer approval and sign off of final commission approval of detailed site plans. Other than a commitment to installing the extension of the Riverwalk past the site, the applicant offered no further comment concerning how it will cross the culvert, the design details, and the responsibilities, the timing of it, etc. After the conclusion of the public hearing and further ongoing commission and staff review and discussion of the proposal, the commission notes the following findings. A, Schedule B allows a maximum height in the RFD zone of 60 feet. However, there are provisions in the RFD standards that allow an increase in height to 75 feet to accommodate certain roof components and features. The site and the proposed building design are somewhat unique in that the topography accommodates a parking deck that's essentially at street sidewalk level with another parking level below sidewalk level. As a result, the entire front wall of the building, as well as the left side wall and about 2/3 of the rear walls of the building, appear to start at the sidewalk level. In other words, they start at the deck or at the sidewalk. These elements, visually that is, these elements amount to about 75 to 80% of the building walls, and measured to the eaves, they are lower than the 60-foot maximum height. If necessary, the building design could be modified to comply with the 60-foot height limitation by substituting a flat roof in place of the current design. The commission, however, strongly prefers the current hip roof design with its various gable features, and concludes that the language of the zoning regulation allows the commission to determine that the roof design falls within the exceptions that allow portions of the roof to extend above the 60-foot height limit. The commission notes further that the additional height is not to accommodate an additional floor, but rather to accommodate a significantly more attractive sloped roof design, and therefore approves the design as submitted. Paragraph 2. Subparagraph 33.19.1D, that's a subparagraph of the RFD regulations, specifies that 2 parking spaces per unit are required, resulting in 184 spaces. Before I go any further, the applicant on his drawings had indicated a parking ratio that varied with the size of the units. It's pretty clear cut in the regulations that this is what applies. In addition, in a mixed use development, 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet of commercial space, or a total of 44 spaces, should be available. Although the total of 228 spaces exceeds the 205 spaces provided, there are 21 excess spaces available. There are 21. I should have clarified that. There are 21 spaces in excess of the residential requirement available, and a deficiency of 23 spaces may be offset by shared parking. This amounts to only 13% of the residential parking and is quite reasonable, especially since 28 of the apartments are studio units for which 2 spaces per unit is generous. The applicant indicated that every apartment will have 1 assigned space and the remaining spaces will be open parking. There will be no extra charges to the apartment's tenants for parking. The Commission notes that the expanded parking to 205 spaces is now in excess of the 200 space threshold that necessitates a certificate from the State Traffic Commission or a letter from the STC confirming that one is not required. Number 3, in response to the Commission's request to provide some affordable housing units, the applicant has indicated that although this was not anticipated, he could and did indicate an intention of providing 8 studio units as affordable units. The Commission expressed a desire for 10% or 9 units to be allocated in a format that would be structured and administered to comply with state statutes in order that they be eligible for recognition as affordable units. The Commission recommends 9 units be reserved in a mix that corresponds generally with the overall mix of the proposal. And that would be approximately 3 studio, 2 one-bedroom, and 4 two-bedroom. Number 4, the city engineer's final approval of site engineering is still outstanding, primarily related to the culvert design deficiencies. The applicant has reported that the culvert solution has been undergoing additional review and final design. The city engineer, during the review process and after independent review by another engineer, noted engineering deficiencies on the latest plans dated 10/1/21. The applicant's response to that indicates that the proposed culvert solution shown on said plans is their conceptual solution to cap the existing channel and does not represent final design construction documents. Final design will address all concerns noted and will need to be reviewed by an independent structural engineer. Said final design is a critical component that may potentially impact the final site layout and design details. Therefore, it must be a condition of any commission site plan approval that it will require city engineer approval prior to the issuance of any zoning permits. Final engineered site plans also require additional detail, some specifications, and dimensioning. All on-site curbing should be poured in place or extruded Portland cement concrete. In addition, retaining wall detail may be required. And after review of final engineered site plans and grading, including protective railing along the top of the wall where deemed necessary. Specifics about handicap parking are needed, as well as a tentative location of the proposed electric vehicle recharging stations. 5, the city-owned Riverwalk is proposed to be extended by the applicant on an easement to be conveyed to or retained by the city along the site perimeter adjacent to the river and the railroad right-of-way, from the Veterans Park to the Canal Street public sidewalk. Confirmation of walkway specifics and timing of installation should be provided. Since it will be the applicant's responsibility, it should be clarified on the final site plans and incorporated into the detailed landscape plan. Number 6, detailed lighting and landscape plans should be provided as part of the final site plans for commission review and approval. Riverwalk and site lighting should be consistent. The landscaping plan should include the standard commission requirements relative to plant survival, supplementary planting, if or as requested by the commission, and so on. Site lighting fixture details should be provided. The provision of street trees as required by the city should be indicated, as well as the blending of the proposed, provision of street trees as required by the city should be indicated, as well as the blending of the proposed sidewalk along the building frontage with the existing public sidewalk. If necessary, the public sidewalk may need to be replaced. Number 7, water, gas, and sanitary sewer services are available in Canal Street along the site frontage, and all utility lines will be located underground. The proposal will be served by the Shelton Municipal Sanitary Sewer System connected to the municipal sewer line in Canal Street, and the application has been referred to the WPCA for a report and approval. Although the building will be fully sprinklered, the application has been referred to the fire marshal. And after review of the final site plans, the application must comply with all final requirements of the fire marshal. After completion of all further discussion of the commission and staff regarding their concerns, and upon satisfaction of the findings and concerns noted above, the commission notes that the proposal will satisfy the considerations of paragraph 33.4 of the zoning regulations. That's the general considerations about special exceptions. And it will comply with the standards and requirements of paragraph 33.19. Accordingly, the following motion was offered. Motion to approve with conditions application 20-22 of Canal Properties LLC, granting the special exception and approving with conditions the site plan for a proposed mixed-use multifamily residential and retail commercial development at 113 to 123 Canal Street, entitled Riverview Park Royal, 113, 123 Canal Street, Shelton, Connecticut, prepared for Primrose Development, dated July 7, 2021, revised to 5/17/21, prepared by Geddes Associates, Inc., designers, architects, and project managers, and including engineering plans prepared by J. Edwards and Associates, engineering survey planning, dated 5/1/20, subject to the following stipulations and additional modifications and revisions. One, the satisfaction of all comments and concerns set forth above to the satisfaction of the commission. Two, submission of the final revised site plan, architectural plans, and detailed engineering plans, including the proposed culvert modifications and grading details, as well as landscaping plan, riverwalk plan, lighting plan, etc., and reflecting compliance with the approval of the Shelton Inland Wetlands Commission and other applicable municipal departments for commission review, approval, and sign off. Three, submission of final confirmation and administrative details regarding the designation of not less than 9 affordable housing units at a mix in proportion to the overall unit mix and in compliance with state affordable housing stipulations for commission approval. 4, receipt of evidence as confirmation of all necessary outstanding approvals by other applicable municipal departments. Approval of an STC certificate or confirmation that the STC does not require a certificate prior to the issuance of permits. As an aside, the monitoring of the STC requirement is really the building department, but we felt it was necessary to mention it so it doesn't come as a surprise. And in fairness to the applicant, that the STC just crept into consideration at the 11th hour when the final plans were revised. And further, the STC doesn't usually want to talk to an applicant until they know that they've got commission approval, local approval. Number 5, all required bonding for sediment and erosion control, as well as a site restoration bond, must be posted prior to the approval of any zoning permits. If that's acceptable with everybody, then the motion can be moved.
All right, any commissioner have any questions for Mr. Panico? I thought I had.
I would just say it seemed like we've had a very thorough review and a lot of improvements made and asked for, and sounds good.
Mr. Panico, under number 4, it talks about
What page are we on?
my page.
I've got a Word print. I printed out a Word copy.
Should be around page 5, but it's item number 4 that starts the city engineer's final approval of site engineering is still outstanding.
Which item, is this after the beginning of the motion?
No, it's before. It's the find in the beginning.
Oh, okay. It starts on the previous page for some reason or other. The city engineer's final approval, yes, item 4. And what was the question?
5 or 6 type lines down, it says, design will address all concerns noted and will need to be reviewed by an independent structural engineer. My question is, who chooses the independent structural engineer?
I'm sorry, what was the question? Who?
This is the independent structural engineer.
Well, I don't know at this point in time. I'm led to believe that the building department would require that anyhow because of the size and nature of the proposal. But I believe the city engineer is also interested in an outside engineering review, as he commissioned already on what was submitted to date. The problem was that the applicant was submitting what he believed to be preliminary plans, and the city engineer was treating them as more advanced plans. And the applicant communicated to the commission that he's fully aware that they're very conceptual, but he did not want to go through the expense and difficulty of having it all engineered unless and until he knew that he had an approved project. So that being the case, it'll have to be a condition of the approval.
Commissioner Kelly had a comment?
Well, wouldn't that be up to the applicant to have it reviewed and then submit it to the building department and a structural engineer?
If it's something to the building department, it would be the applicant's responsibility, yes. But if the engineer wants the confidence of an independent review, then it'll have to be done.
Okay. All right. I think that we're pretty good and fair in recommending the mix of affordable housing units, the 3 studio, 2 1-bedroom, and 4 2-bedroom. I don't know if any commissioner has any disagreement or comment on that.
I was pleased to see that as well.
So that's
Obviously, it's your call.
Commissioner and Commissioner Kelly. The other thing is that I'm glad to see that, of course, that we're trying to improve the streetscape of the downtown area by making sure that all the water, gas, and sanitary sewer services are available on Canal Street, and as well as all utility lines will be located underground.
Right.
That's the way that we want to go for development.
Unfortunately, the utility lines in the street are overhead, and you can't really expect the applicant to put those underground.
No, but the portion
Service
that,
onto the site and everything on site would all be underground, yes.
yes. All right, any comments, questions, or concerns from any members of the commission?
No, I think the resolution captures our discussion of throughout all the public hearings pretty well.
That was Commissioner Parkins. That's good.
Correct.
You know, we were trying to tiptoe in between and get our concerns down on paper so they can be adequately addressed. That was the bottom line.
Okay.
And we wanted the applicant to go ahead and do his detailed engineering on the balance of the site to make sure nothing major is going to change. So it's very important and very critical.
Okay, Commissioners Laskos and Commissioner Ticky, do you have any comments yourself?
Yeah, this is Commissioner Laskos, just that one section in the motions, it was blank for the affordable housing, even though Mr. Panico read it.
Oh, you have a earlier copy. I'm sorry.
That was the one on the screen.
Okay.
I didn't print out the one from the email.
The earlier copy, which is probably what was plugged up there, I had left it blank. And then after further consideration and discussions, we decided, let's put down what the 10% is.
Yep.
10% is 9 units.
Yeah, that's what we agreed on. So
And that was what the commission wanted. So
Yep. Agreed.
the only other major thing there is the applicant's proposal is all efficiency or studio units. And the commission's desire is to have them be in proportion to the mix of the complex. My biggest concern, and I think that the commission shares it, is that you want to make sure that once we have those units, that we are going to get credit from the state as being affordable units for purposes of the inventory in the city of Shelton. So in that sense, he'll have to work with Alex and with staff and with the state to make sure they're all in compliance.
That is definitely.
Absolutely.
So, Commissioner Dickey, before I go on, do you have any comments?
No, everything has been captured. I think I'm pleased that they have involved some affordable units in the development.
Good. All right, if there aren't any other comments, questions, or concerns from the commission, is there a commissioner who would like to move this particular resolution?
Yeah, I'll move it.
Commissioner Kelly would like to move the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motto has seconded. So on the motion from Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Motto, Chair will do a vote. Commissioner Parkins,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickey,
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion on a vote of 6-0. Okay. Next agenda item is application 2124 Ivy Brook condominiums. Dominic Thomas for Gold Coast LLC at 7 Ivy Brook Road, Assessors Map 65, Lot 12, in an LIP zone for Planned Development District and initial development plan approval to include 63 dwellings with a mix of townhouses and apartments and on-site parking on a 3.07 acre parcel. The public hearing for this application opened February 16th, 2022. On May 18th, the commission heard changes to the layout, and after discussion, the commission arrived at a consensus against a zone change and directed staff to prepare a resolution for denial. Mr. Panico, would you please read the resolution?
Certainly. This particular one is in regard to application number 2124, which is the application of Gold Coast LLC for a proposed planned development district for a multifamily residential development at 7 Ivy Brook Road, corner of Mountain View Drive, in a light industrial LIP district. The request for approval of initial development plans and adoption of the PDD. By way of background, the petitioner, Gold Coast LLC, initially proposed to construct a multifamily residential condominium development of 63 dwelling units on a parcel of 3.07 acres at the corner of Ivy Brook Road and Mountain View Drive. And at that time, it consisted of 55 1- and 2-bedroom flats in a 3-story building above a ground floor level parking area and 8 3-bedroom townhouses in two 4-unit buildings. The site is currently undeveloped and with topographical and lot size constraints. The site amenity proposed consisted of an outdoor pool and a related sitting area. The site is situated in an industrial subdivision known as Section 2 Shelton Heights with 5-acre minimum lot sizes. A 1999 lot line revision was approved, which reduced the size of the subject site, identified as lot number 25, to 3.07 acres and adding the residual to the adjoining lot number 24, together with easements for utilities and access over lot 25 in favor of lot 24. The revised and expanded lot 24 subsequently became PDD number 25 and is currently developed with medical offices in the first of 2 proposed office buildings. The subject lot 25, identified as 7 Ivy Brook Road, has remained vacant, encumbered by its reduced size, topography, and the easements. And the parcel is roughly rectangular in shape and somewhat higher in elevation above Ivy Brook Road, necessitating the use of Mountain View Drive for reasonable access. The site is abutted on the south by industrial development and is across Mountain View Drive from other industrial development. The subject application is accompanied by plans entitled Initial Development Concept Plans, Plan Development District, Proposed Condominium Development, 7 Ivy Brook Road, Shelton, Connecticut, prepared for Gold Coast LLC, dated September 29, 2021, prepared by James R. Swift, professional engineer, landscape architect, and including architectural plans prepared by Rose Tizo and Company, LLC architects, dated revised 9/29/21. Also provided was a statement of uses and standards. The application was accepted for review by the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission on November 9, 2021, and a duly noticed public hearing on the proposal was convened on February 16, 2022, which hearing was continued to and closed on May 18, 2022. At said hearing, there was considerable discussion with commission members regarding building height, inconsistency with neighboring development, the adequacy of parking, potential of the 55 flat units becoming rental units, the single means of access, and so on. Public comments were generally negative, raising concerns about traffic and safety, blasting, parking adequacy, density, stormwater runoff impacts, inappropriateness with the area, potential tax generation, the absence of sidewalks, the potential need for school bus service in an industrial park, and so on. At the continuation of the public hearing, in an attempt to address the concerns previously raised, the applicant introduced modified plans lowering the main building height by eliminating one floor. Also, after renegotiating the access easement, the site plan modifications allowed a reconfiguration of parking and circulation and increased the number of townhouse units by adding 2 more 4-unit townhouse buildings. The result was a net decrease of 6 units from a total of 63 to 57. And it attempted to address other concerns previously noted. Additional commission and public comments raised the concerns previously expressed at the opening hearing, noting that there was still some parking deficiency, the lack of visitor parking, excessive density, small size of flat units, raising the concerns about the rental use and related concerns. In its subsequent discussion of the application, the commissioners reconfirmed several concerns. Some expressed density concerns, as well as the potential conversion of the flat units into rentals and the inconsistency of a pocket of residential with area non-residential development. Also expressed was the interest in retaining the site for industrial or related uses compatible with surrounding development. At the conclusion of its discussion, the commission arrived at a consensus to direct staff to prepare a resolution for consideration and denial of the subject PDD proposal. On the basis of this authorization, staff has prepared the following resolution for consideration and possible action. The resolution, whereas the applicant has submitted a complete petition for the establishment of a 63-unit multifamily residential development, subsequently revised and reduced to 57 units under the provisions of the PDD regulations on a 3.07-acre site located at the corner of Ivy Brook Road and Mountain View Drive, which site is currently zoned Light Industrial Park LIP District. And whereas the commission held a duly noticed public hearing on February 16, 2022, continued to and closed on May 18, 2022, to consider said application. And whereas the applicant has submitted and later revised initial development concept plans and other related materials in order to provide the commission with sufficient detail and information necessary to render an informed decision. Whereas the commission is familiar with the subject site and the applicable zoning regulations and has reviewed and discussed the proposal in detail, and subject to the comments set forth above, the commission notes the following. One, all necessary referrals have been made and several concerns of the city engineer remain to be addressed. Further plan modifications may be needed to address all concerns. Two, the proposed PDD encompasses an area greater than the required 60,000 square foot minimum. Existing and proposed utility services appear to be adequate for the proposed development. Three, considerable public concerns and opposition were raised at the public hearings with significant focus on traffic and parking. While the commission recognizes that industrial zoning also contemplates traffic generation, the traffic characteristics vary greatly between residential and industrial use, especially at peak hour. These different traffic characteristics may exacerbate peak traffic conditions, especially at nearby intersections, adversely impacting traffic flows on area streets. No traffic report was provided with the application addressing these issues. Four, some commissioners expressed concern that the predominant component of the proposal was 41 relatively small so-called flat condominium units in the large building with floor areas ranging from 700 to 1,000 square feet, and that such units might easily become investor-owned rental units. And five, the proposed use for multifamily residential development will result in a relatively small area of residential use in the midst of industrial LIP development and is deemed to be inconsistent with overall land use planning and development, as well as the adopted POCD and the comprehensive plan of zoning for the city. The commissioners are of the opinion that the site should remain as zoned for other compatible LIP uses. Now therefore be it resolved by the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission that the subject application 21-24 of Gold Coast LLC for approval of a PDD for multifamily residential development at 7 Ivy Brook Road in a light industrial park district is hereby denied.
Planning Commission,
And the rest is the motion.
any questions for Mr. Panico, the commission? None. Is there a commissioner who would like to make a motion to approve the resolution and for denial?
This is
Commissioner
Commissioner.
Parkins will move,
You go ahead, Commissioner Parkins.
all right, Commissioner Parkins will move that motion for
I'll
denial.
second. Commissioner Ticky will second.
Okay. So we have a motion to approve the resolution for a denial of this application from Commissioner Parkins, and there's a second from Commissioner Ticky. So I will do a roll call vote, and I vote is to approve the denial, a nay vote is to not approve the denial. Okay? So we have that straight? Because we don't approve this. All right, Commissioner Kelly,
Hey,
you're an aye for the denial.
that's correct.
Okay, Commissioner Parkins,
Aye for denial.
Commissioner Ticky,
Aye for denial.
Commissioner Amato,
Aye for denial.
Alaska,
Aye for denial.
and the chair votes aye for denial. The motion for denial has passed on a 6-0 vote of the commission. All right, next on the agenda is application 2130. Russo and Rizzo LLC for 79 Platte Road, LLC at 79 Platte Road, Assessor's Map 77 Lot 20 on 1.96 acres for a zone change from OPD to IA2 and a special exception for 3 buildings with 1 building in front for limited retail use connected with the contractor's business and 2 buildings in the rear for private contractor storage and equipment bays. This particular public hearing for this particular application opened and closed on April 27th, 2022. The commission discussed and came to a consensus that this parcel, an OPD zone, was not an appropriate use, and an IA2 zone was an appropriate use. The commission was unanimous in its consent for staff to prepare a favorable resolution for a zone change. I want to make sure that everyone understands this is just for the zone change. Like what happened within the last couple of months for Dogtopia, the zone change is split off from the use of the property afterwards. So this is just for the zone change, and the applicant would have to come back for, apply for use of the property.
Well, it's already part of the application that he made. It's just that we're splitting the decision on it.
Putting a decision.
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Panico, do you want to read the?
Sure. All right, this is application number 2130. It's the petition of attorneys Russo and Rizzio LLC on behalf of 79 Platt Road LLC to amend the zoning map of the city of Shelton by changing from Office Park OPD district to Industrial IA2 district. I gotta check. A 1.96 acre parcel situated at 79 Platt Road. Back by way of background, the petitioner, attorney Christopher Russo, has submitted a petition to amend the Shelton zoning to amend the Shelton zoning map by rezoning from Office Park OPD district to Industrial IA2 district, a parcel of 1.96 acres located at Platt Road on the north side opposite Oliver Terrace. The purpose of the rezoning is to accommodate a proposed facility for building contractors, businesses, and indoor storage, as well as related retail/wholesale display facilities in the industrial IA2 district. The intent is to provide space within a building in the IA2 zone to allow small local building contractors to store their vehicles and supplies. Locations currently zoned for such contractors' businesses in the city are limited and result in numerous landscapers, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, and similar small contractors attempting to satisfy their needs at their residence. Often this results in zoning violations and neighborhood conflicts. Such uses are currently accommodated by Use Line 45, which permits building contractors' business and storage yards in the CB1, CB2, IB1, IB2, and by special exception in the IA2. The applicant has submitted a proposed development, very limited in scope, with no outside storage of any kind for commission scrutiny under the special exception process. The commission convened and completed a duly noticed public hearing on April 27, 2022. The commission indicated no reservations regarding the zone change, but did note several concerns with the accompanying special exception application, requiring additional detail relative to both size and building design and other concerns. There was no public testimony or public comments either for or against the proposed zone change offered at the hearing. The commission is aware of the lack of adequate and properly zoned sites in the city to satisfy the needs of building contractors' businesses. Having discussed those needs as well as the proposed zone change in detail, it was a consensus of the commission to adopt the proposed rezoning and authorize staff to prepare a resolution for commission consideration and action. That resolution being, whereas the petitioner has prepared and submitted a proposed amendment of the zoning of the Shelton zoning map to rezone the subject property to accommodate industrial development, including the provision of rental space for small building contractors for indoor storage of their vehicles, equipment, and supplies with no outside storage facilities. And whereas the petitioner is also seeking approval of a special exception for a facility providing space for small building contractors' businesses, as well as related retail/wholesale display and sales space, which, if properly done, would also be allowed in the IA2 district and be compatible with adjacent development. And whereas an approval of said special exception cannot be granted unless the proposed rezoning to IA2 is adopted, and until additional site plan and building design information is provided. Whereas the subject property is surrounded by non-residential uses inconsistent with the OPD zone, and the relatively small size of the property, 1.96 acres, cannot accommodate an office park development capable of insulating itself from adjacent uses. And whereas the proposed extension of the industrial IA2 district from the opposite side of Platte Road to include the subject property will allow it to be developed in a manner compatible with adjacent development, as well as development on the opposite side of Platte Road. Whereas the commission held a duly noticed public hearing on April 27, 2022 to consider said petition, at which time there were no public comments in opposition to the proposed change. And whereas the commission has reviewed the proposed change in detail, is familiar with the site and the surrounding area, now therefore the Shelton Planning and Zoning Commission hereby adopts the proposed zone. Actually, I got a word missing there. The proposed zoning map change. Based on the findings noted above and the following specific reasons. The subject site was originally contiguous with other adjacent and vacant properties, also zoned OPD, with frontage on and direct access to Bridgeport Avenue, which properties have since been rezoned to PDDs, with the subject site remaining in the OPD district, yet of much smaller size and with no direct frontage on Bridgeport Avenue. Since the original adoption of the OPD district, the subject property has been underutilized and now has limited potential for development of a high-quality office park. The proposed change is consistent with the comprehensive plan of zoning for the city and with Shelton's adopted plan of conservation and development and its goal of maximizing economic development of industrially zoned land. 3, the change will accommodate development compatible with the surrounding area. And 4, the IA2 zoning provisions provide the commission with the necessary controls to assure proper development consistent with surrounding uses. If adopted, it will become effective on Friday, June 24th at 8 a.m.
Thank you, Mr. Panico. Does any commissioner have any questions for Mr. Panico about the resolution? Okay, hearing none, is there a commissioner who wishes to make a motion to approve the resolution for application
Commissioner-
21?
Commissioner Laskos like to make that motion?
Is there a second? There's a second from Commissioner Kelly. So on the motion to approve the resolution for application 2130 from Commissioner Laskos, seconded by Commissioner Kelly, I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Motto?
Aye.
Key?
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Parkin?
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos?
Aye.
And the chair votes aye. Motion to approve the resolution is passed by a vote of 6-0. All right, now we go on to new business.
Excuse me, Chairwoman, as I previously indicated, I have another commitment at 7 o'clock, so I'm going to depart the meeting for that other commitment.
Very much. So alternate Commissioner Usall, are you still with us?
Yes, I am.
Being seated for Commissioner Parkins. Thank you.
Good night, everyone.
All right.
All right, so the first is application 22-12. Tracy Lewis for the Casey's at 50 Armstrong Road, Assessors Map 10, Lot 1, on 3.36 acres for subdivision in R1 zone to create an additional building lot. Is there first a motion to accept for review? Motion made by Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Motto. So on the motion to accept for review made by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Motto, I'll do a roll call. Alternate Commissioner Usal,
Aye.
Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Aye.
Goes.
Aye.
The chair votes aye. Mr. Rossetti, before we go on, could you confirm for the commission that staff has not found any evidence of this being a re-subdivision?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. And Mr. Rossetti, according to the agenda, we have it down as accept, review, discuss, and possible action or set public hearing. Could you give us the reasoning for that?
For both these subdivision applications that have been submitted for this agenda, per the subdivision regulations, as most of you are aware, the commission has the discretion as to whether or not a subdivision requires a public hearing. So hence the language saying that you may take action if you wish, or if you wish to send it to a public hearing, you may do so as well. It is not a requirement that it have public hearings, so it's completely up to you.
Okay, very good. So let me go around and poll the commission how you'd like to proceed on this. All of the supporting documentation was on the city's website. So Commissioner Kelly, public hearing or hear it tonight?
Hear it tonight.
Okay. Okay, and Commissioner Motto.
Yeah, I'm assuming our staff can confirm that both lots meet the R1 requirements. So I think when you're just dividing a lot in half in this way, it's considered a free split and something that's generally allowed.
This is not a free split. There have been instances. It's a little unique, but it is a straight up 2-lot subdivision. It's not very complex.
Okay.
Okay, but they both lots meet the R1 requirements.
Yes, with variances, yes.
Interior
Yeah.
lot.
I think we could act on it.
Can I interject for 1 second?
Yes.
Do we have action by inland wetlands?
I'll ask, Mr. Rossetti, do we have inland wetlands?
Yes, you have correspondence from John.
Yeah, I'll double check.
He's gonna look it up. All right, so
Without it, you can't act on it.
let me continue if that it did come in. Commissioner Tiki, would you want to act on it tonight or do a public hearing?
I'd be inclined to have a public hearing.
Okay. And let's see, Commissioner Laskos.
Just looking at the setbacks and the buffer to the wetlands, there should be enough acreage to have action tonight and not have a public hearing.
It's just a technical requirement that before you can approve a subdivision, you need a report from inland wetlands.
Yeah, that's what Mr. Rossetti is looking up now.
It could be a simple letter from them that no controls.
Okay, and then
Did the applicant submit a site development plan showing where the proposed house location is?
Yes.
yes. Okay, and then let me just finish my polling. Alternate Commissioner Usal.
I would be in favor of a public hearing.
Okay, and for myself, I would say, let's act on this tonight, myself. So consensus would be to go ahead if there is, everything lines up. So.
It's got water and sewers. Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Yeah, there's the regulated activities outside of this area. When the applicant comes in for development, then they'll have to get their necessary permits from the wetlands officer.
right, but is there correspondence here that you
Yes.
found?
Yes.
Okay, what's the date of that correspondence? Okay. All right, so we can then go ahead tonight and the applicant is present here.
Yes.
So, sir, could you identify yourself, state your address?
Tracy Lewis, doing business at Lewis Associates, I'm a licensed land surveyor.
Mhm.
My offices are at 260 Main Street in Monroe. Here representing Tom and Sandy Casey. Sandy is here, one of the owners is here tonight.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, so what would you like to tell us?
Well, you guys kind of told it all already, yes, pretty much, but I'll go through it. It's at 50 Armstrong Road.
Mhm.
It's 3.3 acres. It has an existing house on it already, which is the home of Tom and Sandy Casey.
Mhm.
In 2008, they received zoning variances for both the lots you see, 1 and 2. We received variances for lot frontage, location of the square on the lot, and also there was a setback to the existing house
Mhm.
to the new line for lot 2. Were granted and allowed for two building lots. All the setbacks conform to the R1 district, not to a rear lot. They're not rear lots, they're front lots. They're neighbored by a residential home on the north side. Route 8, the Route 8 interstate is on the upper side, but there is a small excess strip between Route 8 and the property line, which is the brook,
Mhm.
Black Brook. Center line of Black Brook is the property line. So there's a small strip that the state owns, the non-access highway line for Route 8. On the east is the what you might remember as the Cherry Hill condominium complex.
Cranberry Estates.
Cranberry Estates, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
Cranberry Estates condominium complex, and that has their own open space adjacent to that. To the south, there is 2 residential lots. So it's basically surrounded by R1 district. It is in our R1 district and surrounded by residential homes.
Mhm.
It will be serviced by city sewer and city water. Jim Swift was the engineer. You're familiar with him. He did the engineering on it. And we provided a soil erosion control and grading plan. They're all on the same sheet. See that before you. We showed a conceptual home on it. Lot 2 will be subject to engineering approval upon building permit. They will need to provide a more detailed site plan, which this one is pretty detailed. But there'll be a more detailed site plan showing the proposed house, grading and that. But Jim did grade it all and showed the proper drainage and all that. Like I said, it will be serviced. The existing house is serviced already by sanitary, sewer, and water. So there'll be a new sewer line and water line separate coming from lot 2. We did get the okay from WPCA for the connection. And actually the connection for this lot is in the road already. There is a box out there already for this lot. We did get the okay from wetlands. There's no wetland encroachment. There's no encroachment into the wetland setback from the river. There is associated limit of wetlands there. You can see it marked. We did flag it and showed the wetlands on the map, and also all the setbacks from the wetlands that are required. I think that's about it. If there's any questions, be glad to answer them.
Mhm. Okay. Any commissioners have any questions?
One other thing I'd like to mention too, that during the ZBA approval did require a landscape buffer between the two residential lots to the south,
Mhm.
out on Strong Road. So if you could tip that up a little bit, Alex, you can see that there's a tree buffer between those two front residential lots to the new lot 2.
Is that the notation 7D Linwood
Yeah.
Gold for Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Commissioner Kelly has a question.
just looking at it, it says, where's the driveway for that?
So there would be a separate driveway that would go to lot 2. The existing house obviously has a driveway already.
Okay, all
So
right,
there'll be
now,
a new driveway for lot 2.
all right, and there's another drawing that says lot 1 to retain easement for utilities.
Yes, right now the sewer line and water line are in the area of the lot 2 property. So we would reserve an easement over
Okay,
that area.
I was wondering if my thought was that if that was an easement to bring the utilities to lot 2, where would the driveway be? But that's the opposite of what what it is. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and it would not affect the buildable area or anything
No,
else.
no, absolutely not. I agree.
Okay. Any other commissioner have any comments, questions, or concerns? Mr. Panico, how about you?
Yeah, I had a couple. I haven't had a chance to discuss this with Alex yet, so I don't know some of these answers. Does this qualify? Does this require a fee in lieu of or open space dedication or anything? I just don't. I can't remember the specifics of the requirements. And number 2, does it need to go to Conservation Commission? We normally send them subdivisions, even 2-lot ones. And number 3, the driveway, I know it doesn't meet the length requirements to mandate a bypass area, but in view of that sharp bend in the driveway, it's conceivable you've got somebody coming in and somebody leaving without them realizing it, and somebody's got to back up and there's no opportunity. So I would suggest perhaps that where the second bend on the driveway is, perhaps a fishtail be provided there so somebody could back out of the way and let someone by, unless there's room to put a widened area where 2 cars can bypass. You don't want to have somebody having to back out onto the street. Normally in a shorter driveway, before you pull in, you can see if there's somebody on the other end of the street, but in this case, you can't.
Exactly. Okay.
We wouldn't have an issue with that.
So those would all be made as condition of approval, Mr. Panico?
Yeah, that certainly could be a condition of approval. Also, and the final comment I would make, I don't know whether it's going to require some input from conservation or not, but it might be desirable to create a conservation easement along the wetland area. It's excess and it's not going to be used anyway. It doesn't penalize the applicant. It just protects the brook.
Any other commissioners have any comments, questions, or concerns? So, Mr. Zeddy, you have any response about the fee in lieu of?
Commission may ask for that. The rule of thumb for other subdivisions has been 10% of the fair market value of the land. That's kind of what the commission's gone by previously, but again, that's up to the commission's discretion.
Okay, and is that something that we would have to hire an appraiser to look at, or you just take it off the property card?
The applicant usually does.
Okay, and what about the input from the Conservation Commission?
Again, that's commonly referred to them. I don't have comments from conservation, I don't think. They may have actually, do you know, Tracy, did they comment at their meeting by any chance? They usually pick up what we've inputted.
I did not hear anything. They didn't contact me.
Yeah.
Madam Chairman, I didn't hear the answer to the earlier comment about where it stands with inland wetlands.
Okay,
Has it received its approval? Or a letter of no interest or something?
Yes, there's a communication from John Cook to Alex.
I'm sorry, I can't understand it.
does not work very well. Come on up here if you want. Come on up to the podium.
Okay.
Okay, Mr. Lewis is here at the table now,
This one.
so just talk.
Okay. There's a communication between John Cook and Alex. It's an email. I showed everything to John Cook. There's no intrusion into the buffers at all.
Did John say you did not need to submit an application to them? Is that what he basically said? Okay, if that's what he said, that's a clearance.
And unfortunately, he's on vacation this week, so.
As long as we have evidence, we need something in our file to recognize that
We
did
do.
clear it through wetlands, that's all. Otherwise, we're going to be found to be not having done our job.
No, I understand.
Anything else, Mr. Panico?
No, right off the top of my head, that's all I see.
All right, so how would the commission like to go forward on this? Do you feel that you have sufficient information to go ahead for tonight, making conditions of approval, the fee in lieu of, to something in writing from the Conservation Commission, the correction on that pullover that Mr. Panico brought up about the sharp bend, and having a conservation easement? Or do you feel that we need to table this for some more input?
Tracy, is the owner of property, excuse me, is the owner of the front house the owner of the entire property? Are they the applicant?
No, lot one is the applicant.
That's what I'm referring to. Well, can we lower that down? I can't see who lot one is.
Oh,
Can you lower that down,
Alex,
He's looking at the fact. What is?
Is
Alex,
the entire parcel in one ownership? That's what I'm asking, I guess.
lots 1 and 2 are owned by the
The
applicant.
Casey's, yes.
Alex,
Yes.
they want you to slide the diagram down. Oh, okay. Is
Okay.
that better?
So lot one owns it all. Correct. That's what I assumed.
Things that are on theirs, and the whole property is theirs.
Right, in the back,
Yeah,
lots 1 and 2, but
Yeah.
not in the front where it says now we're formally of
no, those are not
Anderson
theirs. No.
and
Oh,
Christine.
no, we know that.
Right,
So,
okay.
Okay, as long as there's no confusion about whether it's a re-subdivision, and as long as there's no issues with conservation, then the points that I brought up are the only concerns that I would have, and that they're easy to clarify, so. There will be a fee in lieu of, and apparently inland wetlands has indicated no need for an application or whatever. So a conditional approval could be acted on if that's what the commission wants.
Tony, would they have to redraw the map a little bit to accommodate that driveway change?
No, that would be in an easement, on an easement on lot one. We would just
Right.
expand
Okay,
That's in fee.
on lot one. We wouldn't change the lot lines. We wouldn't be necessary.
I can't help you.
We would have a wider driveway. However, Jim will look. I don't know what to do.
To
We'll widen it at that corner and make it wide enough so somebody can turn.
the applicant.
What's that, Commissioner Kelly?
No, my concern was somebody exiting from lot 2 having a conflict after he makes the bend. Is there, how do you deal with it?
That's what I think Mr. Lewis was saying that they would have an easement and a wider driveway.
A little bit wider and that,
No.
just because.
I guess, can we go down to see the entrance again?
You want the maps moved again?
I'd like to see the entrance. I don't know what we're talking about. Okay, so are you going to have two parallel driveways there?
Yes,
Okay,
so you're talking about somewhere before the curve.
I'm talking about somebody that wants to enter lot number 2.
Make a little wider.
And drives down that grade. And then
Where's
all of a
it?
sudden, as he turns the corner, he sees somebody in front of him.
Like where it says asphalt drive, right there, make it a little bit wider so somebody could pull off.
There's room? Okay. If you
We
got
would have,
room, that's fine.
but we could do that.
Okay. All right, any other concerns from any of the commissioners? All right, so does any commissioner want to make a motion for conditional approval of application 22-12 with the points that Mr. Panico brought up, be in lieu of going to the Conservation Commission, fixing the, having a pullover with the sharp bend at the beginning of the driveway from Armstrong Road, and a conservation easement along the rear of the property as being conditions of approval.
I make that up.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly is going to make that motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Commissioner Amato? Seconding. So on the motion for conditional approval from Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Amato, I'll do a roll call vote. Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Commissioner Amato?
Aye.
Commissioner Lascos? You there?
Aye.
Very good. Commissioner Tiki?
Aye.
And alternate Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. Motion to, for a conditional approval passes on a vote of 6-0. You're welcome. All right, next is application 2216. Dominic Thomas for Prestige Builders LLC at 390 to 402 Long Hill Avenue, Assessors Map 78, lots 11 to 14 on 13.3 acres for a subdivision in an R2 zone for 9 building lots and 6.2 acres for open space. First, is there a motion to accept for review? Commissioner Kelly has made a motion to accept for review. Is there a second?
Commissioner Velasquez, I'll second that.
I'm sorry, Commissioner Kelly, would you mind changing your motion to include that staff would set a public hearing?
Yes.
Okay, and Commissioner Lascos, would you be able to second the change in that it's for review and for staff to schedule a public hearing?
Yes.
All right, so on the motion to accept application 2216 for review and for staff to schedule a public hearing made by Commissioner Kelly, seconded by Commissioner Lascos. Chair will do a roll call vote. Commissioner Lascos?
Aye.
Otto?
I said aye.
No, I know. I was asking Otto.
Oh, couldn't hear you. Aye.
Commissioner Tiki?
Aye, and you are starting to cut out, Chairwoman, which is why it's a little hard to hear some of the names. But I said aye.
Thank you. Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Alternate Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
Your votes aye. Before we go any further to Mr. Rossetti, are there outstanding reports from,
And can I just make a comment? or two?
Yeah, I had raised my hand at the beginning. This is Attorney Thomas. I just finally got admitted as a panelist. I was hoping to address the commission on this. I don't think a public hearing is needed. It's a routine subdivision. I do believe you need reports, and I was hoping that the matter could just be, we would expect an engineering report because there's a road, and we would expect potentially a report from the fire marshal, and we were hoping to be able to just present at the next meeting. It is a relatively routine subdivision. It's not a re-subdivision, and really doesn't merit a public hearing.
Okay, first of all, Attorney Thomas,
Yes.
speak when I,
Yeah, unfortunately, that's kind of the comments I was going to make.
Yeah.
Mr. Panico. So, Mr. Panico, you have the floor. And I
Okay,
was asking before you start, are there, Mr. Rossetti, are there still outstanding reports from engineering, inland wetlands, and the fire marshal?
They all have to be received.
Okay, so these three departments still have to submit their reports. All right, so, Mr. Panico, what comments did you want to make?
I was just going to advise the commission to be very careful about the scheduling or not scheduling of public hearings on subdivisions. Because if you go ahead and start having public hearings, when the third or fourth or fifth one comes along, it's almost going to be like you're obligated to have a public hearing. And generally, you don't have public hearings on subdivisions. If you have specific concerns and you think it's necessary to expose it to the public, fine, but a normal procedure, you don't do it. Public hearings are only required for re-subdivisions.
Okay.
Public subdivisions are the sort of thing where if you meet all the criteria that are in the regulations, you're entitled to your approval. They're
Okay.
pretty well straightforward. The major decision was made when the zone change was changed.
Right.
But if you have specific cause and specific reasons, fine, go ahead and have your hearing, but just be careful, because if it turns out that you have public hearings on 3 or 4 or 5 consecutive subdivision applications, and then suddenly one comes in and you don't want to have a hearing, now what?
All right, Commissioner.
So I just, that's it.
Commissioner Kelly, you had a, want
Yeah,
to make a
but
comment?
We have had public hearings on subdivisions before.
Sure we have. Well, but is the difference, Mr. Panico, that some have come in as PDDs and some are not?
Those have mostly been PRDs.
PRDs, okay.
Right. Oh, those special kinds, that's a different story, yes.
Yeah. So I think that's where we automatically tend to go towards having a public hearing so that the neighborhood is assessed, gets an understanding of what's being proposed and can weigh in on it. But I understand your concern, Mr. Panico, as well. How do the other commissioners feel? Do we need to move forward with the public hearing, or is this something that this can be reviewed and have an action on it? Not necessarily tonight, definitely not tonight, because of the fact that we do have those.
Sure.
No, because we do have those reports that have to come in from the other departments. But Commissioner Laskos, how do you feel about a public hearing, A or nay?
I'd see nay on a public hearing.
Okay. Commissioner Tiki, how about you?
I'll be fine with what the group wants to go with. I'm just seeing this for the first time to learn more about it. I mean, generally, I like to see public involvement, but after Tony Panico's comments, if we can deal with this, at the commission level, I'm open to what the commission thinks.
Okay. Commissioner Mato, how about you?
Are we accepting this for review?
That's
that
all.
For taking?
That's all
I
you're doing.
would have to go back. I would go back and ask both Commissioner Kelly and Commissioner Laskos to amend their original motion. I'm just trying to get a consensus of the commission as to how they want to proceed. So would you be a or nay on a public
So
hearing?
my question is, so we're accepting it for review, which means we're going to see the maps, we're going to see the input from various boards down before we sign off on it completely. Okay.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. But it's a matter of, without a public hearing, the public
Sure.
is not going to be able to comment. That's all. So what's your preference? Public hearing?
Fine. I know we've done in the distant past public hearing on a subdivision where everything was fit in with the zone, but there was knowledge that there would be public concern. And I think the commission has sometimes done public hearings for that reason. So I think.
Can I address the commission on that
Oh,
point?
not yet, Attorney Thomas. Let me finish my discussion with the commission. And then you'll have the floor. So Commissioner Model, could you just clarify, are you an A or a nay for a public hearing?
I'm a nay for a public hearing.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Kelly,
Nay.
you're a nay. Commissioner Usel? You're acting tonight.
Nay.
You're a nay for public hearing, okay? And I will go along with the consensus of the commission to not have a public hearing. So Attorney Thomas, what remarks did you want to share with us?
I was simply going to express to you that you have in the past, I don't know if any of you were on the board, but you have in the past have actually had large subdivisions where you did not have a public hearing and encouraged the public to speak during the public portion, which was an appropriate way to handle it, if there is any. But I do want to clarify that we will be making a full presentation at your next regular meeting to address the report. We're hopeful to get those reports in time, and we will be making a full presentation. I assumed you would want to wait till there was a full engineering report and everything for us to, because of the fact that there's a city street involved in this.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So Commissioners Kelly and Laskos, would you be agreeable to amend your original motion for this application 2216 just to be accepted for review and for staff to schedule a discussion and presentation by the applicant on an agenda of an upcoming meeting?
Yes, I would.
Okay. Commissioner Laskos, how about you?
Yes, I would.
Okay. So on the amendment to just accept application 2216 for review, for staff to schedule it for a presentation on an upcoming meeting. Let me just go through with the commission as to the change in the amendment. So Commissioner Kelly?
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Motto?
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki?
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos?
Aye.
Alternate Commissioner Usel?
Aye.
And chair votes aye. All right, so staff is directed at the appropriate time to have this application scheduled for a presentation at an upcoming meeting. All right, application 2213. Dominic
Madam
Thomas.
Chairman, my
Sure.
schedule, this Commissioner, you saw my schedule is going to require me to depart at this time.
Okay, thank you for alerting us. That's at 7:30. Okay. All right, so as I started to say, we are on application 2213. Dominic Thomas at 0 and 435 River Road, assessors map 66, lots 3 and 4 on 8.25 acres in R3 and CA2 zoning for a PDD and initial development plan approval for 152 apartments with on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review?
Commissioner Tiki will make the motion to accept for review.
But we'll definitely have a public hearing on this one, I think, right? We're definitely going to have a public
Absolutely.
hearing on this. Yeah.
Yeah, Commissioner Tiki.
Mandatory.
Commissioner Tiki, could you include in your motion to accept for review and for staff to schedule a public hearing?
Yes, and for staff to schedule a public hearing.
Thank you. And is there a second on Commissioner Tiki's motion to accept for review and for staff to schedule a public hearing?
I'll second that.
There's a second from Commissioner Kelly. So on a roll call, Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Tiki,
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed 5-0. And so going on to agenda item D, Application 2214, S&J of Shelton LLC. There was a typo in there. It should be S&G, as in George, of Shelton LLC at 301 Bridgeport Avenue, Assessors Map 91, Lot 17 on 1.91 acres in an RBD zone for PDD and initial development plan approval for 43 apartments with on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review?
I'll make that motion.
Motion from Commissioner Kelly. Is there a second?
And public hearing.
Public hearing. Is there a second on the motion by Commissioner Kelly,
Is-
accept for
Is
review?
it a complete
Set.
application, man?
Let me finish on the motion to accept for a minute. Is there a second on the motion to
Commissioner
accept?
Tuckey will second the motion.
Okay. All right. Mr. Rossetti, is this a complete application?
Yes.
Yes, Mr. Rossetti is indicating this is a complete application and can go forward. Okay, so on the motion made by Commissioner Kelly to accept for review and set a public hearing, seconded by Commissioner Tuckey. Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Tuckey,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion is passed 5-0. Next is application 2215, J&L Enterprise LLC at 60 to 74 Todd Road, Assessors Map 63, lots 19, 21, and 22 on 2.49 acres in an IA3 zone for PDD and initial development plan approval for 94 apartments in a daycare facility with on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review and for staff to set a public hearing?
I'll make the motion to accept for review and set up a public hearing.
Commissioner Motto, is there a second?
I'll second that.
Commissioner Kelly is seconded on the motion made by Commissioner Motto, seconded by Commissioner Kelly to accept application 2215 for review and schedule a public hearing. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Tuckey,
Aye.
Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. And the last item under new business is application 2217. PDD number 99, Dominic Thomas for Gake's Landing LLC. There's a typo on the agenda. At 1055 Bridgeport Avenue, Assessors Map 2, Lot 8 on 1.7 acres, Zone PDD number 99 for a modification of the statement of standards, modification for the statement of uses and standards and initial development plans for 62 apartments with on-site parking. Is there a motion to accept for review and for staff to set? Before on, Mr. Rossetti, you had on the agenda for accept, review, discuss, and possible action. Was that to be accept, review, and set a public hearing? Okay, so.
That's a public hearing.
Yes, I know. I just want to make sure everyone understands the protocol would be to accept, review, and just have a public hearing. So is there a motion to accept for review and for staff to set a public hearing for application 2217?
Commissioner Laskos, I'll make that motion. Accept,
Thank you.
review, and set public hearing.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Commissioner Tuckey will second.
Thank you, Commissioner Tuckey. So on the motion to accept application 2217 for review, staff to schedule a public hearing made by Commissioner Lasko, seconded by Commissioner Tuckey. I'll do a roll call. Commissioner Motto,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
Commissioner Tuckey,
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Motion is passed 5-0. Mr. Rossetti, is this a complete application?
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. All right, we're down on to other business comments from the chair. There was, this morning's meeting of the SPZC was canceled, and the chair will be sending an email to the commission members to get some feedback on the number of meetings that should be scheduled in the months of July and August. We do not want to have a situation where Mr. Rossetti is preparing agendas and indicating to applicants the tentative dates for their particular proposals, and then for us not to have a quorum because of vacations. Okay, so Commissioner Kelly, you have any comments from the downtown subcommittee?
Yes, there's going to be a meeting at this time, July 22nd. Place will be determined before that time.
Okay, this is like, what was it, 8:30, 9 o'clock?
Yes.
8:30. Okay, all right, so further information will be shared. But the downtown subcommittee will meet on July 22nd at a location and
To be determined.
to be determined, as well as the time. Commissioner Amato, do you have any comments from the zoning subcommittee?
No, I don't think we have anything scheduled. We had some sign issues that a couple of signs we've asked to have come to the whole commission at some point.
Okay, for those particular signs, if they do get modified, perhaps the subcommittee members could do a quick review
Sure.
so that you're familiar with them before coming to the
Sure.
whole commission. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Staff comments, Mr. Rossetti, have any comments in general?
Not right now.
No? Okay, Mr. Panico, how about you?
No, I have nothing else. I've kind of messed you guys up already.
No, you
Yeah.
did.
Uh,
Okay, all right. Last item on the agenda is minutes for approval. No, for July and August, no, I'm gonna send out email. To get that feedback. Okay, so first is approval of the May 25th, 2022 meeting minutes. Does anybody have any comments or changes?
Looked okay to me.
Okay, the only thing I picked up is on the paragraph that talks about Mr. Rossetti reviewed a map of the Mass property. And when I read it again today, the next to last sentence says he mentioned there will be a subdivision or re-subdivision proposal in the future to redivide the properties into principal territories or future industrial tenants. I think the word is for future industrial tenants, that's all. It's a letter was skipped. And under item B, which was talking about the ADU opt-out, when I went back and read my notes, the section that says, Mr. Panico then expresses concern regarding the parking provision, saying it potentially underestimates the demand for the parking. There's a phrase in there, I think, that should be inserted because I think he was, my notes say it potentially underestimates the demand for the parking for at-home work or visitor parking. And it underestimates your ability to require additional visitor parking. So those are the only things that I saw. If no one else has any corrections or changes, is there a motion to approve the May 25th minutes as amended?
I'll make that motion as amended.
Okay, that's from Commissioner Amato. Is there a second?
Commissioner Dickey will second.
Okay, thank you. So on the motion, Commissioner Laskos. Can't hear you.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Dickey,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. All right, the next one is approval of the June 1st meeting minutes. Does anybody have any corrections or changes? I did not. Does anyone want to make a motion to approve as submitted?
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Commissioner Kelly has made a motion to approve the June 1st minutes as submitted. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Commissioner Amato, for seconding. So on the motion to approve the June 1st minutes as submitted, Commissioner Tiki,
I'm,
Commissioner Amato,
Aye.
Commissioner Laskos,
Aye.
Commissioner Kelly,
Aye.
and the chair votes aye. Motion to approve is passed with a vote of 5-0. All right, seeing that there is no other item on the agenda, the chair declares this evening's meeting is adjourned as of 7:41 PM. Thank you,
Madam Chair?
everyone.
Hey, everybody.
Mr. Panico, did you have a comment?
I'm sorry I didn't get to it sooner, but this is a regular meeting. Don't you normally solicit comments from the public?
Oops.
Oops. We overlooked that. Well, let me just ask then, before I'll reconvene the meeting. So if there is any
Wanted to see your.
members of the public, no, I mean, just toss it out. Is there any, if there's any members of the public who are participating remotely that would like to address the commission on any item that is not on the agenda, please use Zoom's raise your hand feature to indicate that you would like to make a comment. At the same time, if there's anyone here in the auditorium that would like to make a comment on any item that is not on the agenda, please come to the podium. Mr. Rossetti, is there anyone from the public participating remotely who's indicated they would like to participate?
No.
There is not. There's no one from the auditorium that has come up to the podium. So I think we are good to go. So, okay, so we will then adjourn the meeting at 7:43 PM.
Night, everybody.
Have a good night.
Aye again.